Have you ever considered the complex ethical questions surrounding the very beginnings of human life? It is a profoundly sensitive area, touching on deep personal beliefs and evolving scientific understanding. Indeed, several prominent ethical views support the position that early human embryos do not possess full moral standing, or sometimes any moral standing, in their initial developmental stages. This perspective frequently forms the basis for discussions in areas like scientific research and reproductive medicine. These views are primarily rooted in differing philosophical concepts about what precisely confers moral status. One significant perspective is called gradualism. This view argues that moral status is not an all-or-nothing proposition, but rather develops incrementally as an embryo progresses through various biological milestones. For example, some gradualists suggest that a morally significant stage is reached only after the formation of the primitive streak. This occurs around 14 days after fertilization. Before this point, the early embryo, often referred to as a zygote or blastocyst, retains totipotency, meaning it can still split into identical twins, which some interpret as a lack of individual identity. Another influential view is based on sentience, proposing that moral standing is conferred only when an organism can experience sensations, particularly pain and pleasure. Since early embryos lack a developed nervous system, they cannot experience sentience. Therefore, from this viewpoint, they do not possess moral status. Furthermore, personhood theories often define moral status based on the presence of advanced cognitive capacities like self-awareness, rationality, memory, and the ability to engage in complex communication. An early embryo clearly does not possess these highly developed functions, leading to the conclusion that it is not a person in a morally relevant sense. Understanding these distinctions helps to illuminate the foundations of various ethical debates, such as those surrounding in vitro fertilization, stem cell research, and therapeutic cloning. When engaging in these important discussions, recognizing the different criteria for moral standing, whether it is genetic humanity, a specific developmental stage, sentience, or personhood, allows for a more nuanced and informed dialogue. It helps us understand why different people, all acting with good intentions, can arrive at vastly different conclusions regarding the ethical permissibility of certain actions involving early embryos. It is also valuable to consider the concept of the potentiality principle. This principle posits that a being with the potential to become a person should be treated as one. However, ethical views that deny early embryonic moral standing often critique this principle, arguing that mere potentiality, especially when that potentiality is highly contingent and undeveloped, is insufficient to grant full moral status. They might emphasize that while a zygote has human DNA, it is biologically very different from a newborn infant. The 14-day rule in research ethics, which sets a limit for in vitro embryo research, is a direct application of some of these views, partly due to the primitive streak's formation and the loss of totipotency. By exploring these diverse ethical frameworks, we gain a deeper appreciation for the varied rationales behind complex bioethical positions. It is not about asserting one single right answer, but rather about equipping ourselves to analyze the underlying ethical principles that shape our understanding of life, moral obligations, and the responsible application of scientific advancement, thereby fostering more productive and respectful conversations.